Good day, folks. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Dika, where I share my experience and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I'm going to do a review or my impression of my viper430 10-point crossbow. It's going to be my entire setup, why I got it, why I decided on this one, and what I like about it. I've used it for a year, coming up on my second season now. All right, but before I get started, please sub the channel, like my videos, and make some comments, all right? So, this is the 10-point Viper 430. I have the Burris Oracle scope. It's a range-finding scope on there. I'm going to tell you price. I'll start with price and specs, and then I'm just going to go through as to sort of my story as to why I decided on this crossbow and how it has performed for me. All right, so we're going to start off with some specs. It's 33 inches long. It's not bad. It weighs naked, when it doesn't have the quiver on it and it doesn't have this scope on it, 7 and change, a little over 7 pounds. Once you put this scope on it, it's close to once you have the quiver and the scope on it, it's closer to 10 pounds, which still isn't that bad. You're able to shoulder it very, very well, and it's really not bad at all. Uncocked, it is 11 inches from the axle to axle, which is this measurement across here, and when it's cocked, it is 6 inches. So it's really, really sort of sleek when it's cocked. It has some upgrades on it. So this is like an upgraded version from the I think it was the Viper 400, or it was a 10-point 400 feet per second. This one shoots a 400 grain arrow about 430 feet per second, which is spectacular. It really is. It really screams out of here. It zips out like a laser beam, and you're able to take down those animals quickly and effectively. And with this on it, it's a game changer. All right, so I am relatively new to the crossbow world. Prior to this, I had a Raven R18, and I will put my review of that up in the corner here, and you can review that. Now, I had that for 2 seasons, and I liked it. I did like it, but I wasn't happy with everything that Raven had to offer. I think some of the, for me, it wasn't worth the money that you would pay for a Raven. Inside of 2 years, the strings went twice. They just broke on me. So I decided to move on, and for other reasons also. The R18, I don't know if you've seen it, it's a very compact, very small, and I'm a rather big guy. I'm 6'2", 230 pounds, and I found out that I needed, for accuracy, I needed something that you can shoulder and really have some weight on it a little bit to create that accuracy. I added this later, and that sort of creates the accuracy for you. All you have to do is really keep it still. So I went through the specs, I went through how much it weighs. My overall impression of this crossbow is it is an absolute beast. It really is. It really just takes down animals effectively, quickly. The learning curve as to learning a crossbow and practicing is very, very short. And it's just easy to use, and it's easy to hold, even just shouldering it. I mean, I use sticks when I'm in my blind, like a tripod sticks, but for the longer shots, if I'm shooting far. But when you take this to the range, even outside of putting this scope on it, you're gonna, as long as you're putting it on a rest or anything, you're gonna stack arrows at 80 yards, even out further. I decided to add the Burris scope to it. I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna go over the crossbow, and then I'm gonna get into the Oracle scope. This is more a review of my setup. All right, so like I said, I went over the specs, so I'm repeating myself. So they added one feature to this, and this is a new feature. And like I said, I'm new to the crossbow world, but apparently some of the optics are dying or not working properly because of the vibration that's put out with the crossbow. This happens on air guns also. So there are certain scopes that are designed to go on crossbows because of the vibrations, and certain scopes are designed to go on air rifles because of the vibrations. They're not the same ones that go on firearms. In fact, there's more vibration on a air rifle than there is a firearm. I never would have thought that, but I was into air rifles at one point in time. So they have placed these right here. They're called scope struts, and that creates just a firmer stability platform for the scope. And that's something that they added. This crossbow came out in 2023. Like I said, it's the viper430. There's two paint jobs. There is two finishes. There's this one, and then there is like a dark green one, and they're $100 difference. So this crossbow naked is, I think, $1,700, and if you want, and it's more for this than the green. So if you want the green, I think it's $1,600. This scope is $800 by itself, and in my opinion, it's well worth it. The Tenpoints, this is not a pull. You don't pull this. It does have a stirrup in the front here, but this is it is a crank crossbow. You won't be doing anything manual with this. It is 250. It's a 250-pound draw weight, so you're not going to be doing that, especially in the field when you need to knock another arrow. This is more for aesthetics, or even just leaning it down so the limbs don't touch the ground when you're cranking it, and you can use it as a hanger. The ACUslide system, which is in the back here, you have on the other side, excuse me. The ACUslide system, it is very, very simple to use. There's a crank system, a crank that is built inside. You place it in here, and it's a few minor directions to crank it. I am going to refer you to Wavering Creations if you want to learn how to use the ACUslide. They are the professionals on it. They do a video better than I ever would do a video on it, and if you are interested in this and you want to see how the ACUslide works, they put more detail and more work into it than I probably ever would, and they just do a better job than I would. So I'll refer you to them as far as the going over the ACUslide. But it is very, very easy. You can cock it, you can uncock it, but you don't need to fire it in the woods. If right now it's in sort of an uncocked position from the last season, I didn't fire it. You can leave it like that. It has a nylon rope here that goes along the rail, and it seems to hold very, very well. When you are cocking, though, one feature that I like about it is when you're cocking, you can stop, or you can back it out. You can do any of that, as opposed to some of the Ravens, and probably some other brands too. You really have to keep tension on it, or it's just going to sort of spin out of control and potentially hurt yourself. With my other Raven, I slipped, and I mean, it almost broke my hand. It's that much force. And that one, the draw weight on that one was only, it was 150 or 160. So that's the ACUslide, and like I said, I refer you to Wavering Creations because they're just gonna do, they just do a great job at explaining to it, and you know what, they don't leave out any details, and they I don't know, they just keep it safe and give you all the details for it. All right. Like I said, I have the Burris Oracle scope on there. That is $800, and it's an absolute game changer. Absolute game changer. So all you do, if you do not know anything about the Burris Oracle scope, it is a range-finding scope. So it combines the technology of a rangefinder into a scope, and it has up to 7 power as far as zooming, which I don't use for the most part. I might use it for like sort of glassing while I'm in the woods. I'll look around. I'll use it as sort of a tool to do recon while I'm sitting if I need to see something further off. So it has a remote control, a wireless remote control that I have attached. I'm a lefty, that I have attached over here with a piece of Velcro. So all I do when I'm in the field is I look through this. You have to turn it on first, so your game animal is going to come, I don't know, in range or whatever. You click this, and the scope will stay on for a couple minutes. And then once you get your target in sight, you're going to push this button. And that button is going to move it's going to show you a distance of how far that animal is away. Long as your reticle is on that animal, like there's not a twig in the way or anything like that, it's going to tell you a distance, and it's just going to move a dot up and down a reticle inside of this, and then you just put that dot where you're aiming, and you pull the trigger, and you get it done. It really takes out a lot of the guesswork, and it's quite spectacular. It really is. And coming from a bow and going to a crossbow, as long as you have the distance, it really increases your range. It increases your accuracy and it increases your range. I can't use a bow anymore because of shoulder and elbow and hand problems on my right side, and the crossbow has allowed me to stay in the woods and hunt. People ask all the time, is it an advantage? And you might talk to some crossbow people and they'll say, no, it doesn't increase your range, it's not an advantage. I think that's absolute bullshit. You absolutely have more of an advantage than with a compound bow. Absolutely. The lethality alone on this is, it shoots like I said, it shoots a 400 grain arrow, a 400 grain bolt, 400 grain 20-inch bolt. It's only 20 inches at 430 feet per second. That's insane. And then this is, excuse me, and this isn't even the fastest crossbow out there. Some of the Ravens, they shoot 500 plus grain arrows at 500 something feet per second, which is, it's really pushing the envelope on maybe whether or not a crossbow should be used in bow season, because it's closer to a firearm than it is a bow, just based on the lethality and the range you can get and the accuracy. But here in Massachusetts, where I hunt, it is still part of the bow season, and you need a special permit. You need a note from your doctor saying that you have a disability that prevents you from pulling a bow safely. And it's relatively easy to get. You fill out a piece of paper, you mail it in, and then they tell you that you can use a crossbow. And once you can use a crossbow, the theory is that you cannot go back to using a bow. So even if those injuries heal, you're still stuck with a crossbow, which I'm fine. I'm pushing 50 years old. Things don't move the way they used to, and this is a spectacular alternative. Like I said, so the total price is, so that's what, this was $1,700 plus 800, what's that, 2,500, right around there. 1,700 is a package. It comes with a quiver. It comes with a scope, which I took off of it. 3 arrows, a quiver, and the quiver is mounted up underneath. You can mount it, there's a Picatinny rail underneath there. You mount it underneath there. And they say it's a quick release. I don't like it, but I've never been a fan of a quiver, even with a bow. So I carry a pack in with me, and I keep my quiver in my pack. And then when I'm in my blind or I'm shooting from wherever I am, obviously I have one bolt knocked and then another one ready to go outside the quiver, just to make it easier. I've had the viper430 here for a little over a year now, and I have zero complaints. In fact, everything is a pro. Everything is a pro. And I like it more and more the more I use it. I recommend it to anyone. I do recommend the Tenpoint company. I'm not sponsored in any way. I'd like to be sponsored. That'd be great. They just seem to be a great company. I believe that Tenpoint is one of the only American-made companies, if that's important to you. And everything just seems to be well made. So the Burris Oracle scope, I'm going to give you a rundown on that, right? I could do a separate review on it, which I may, but as far as operating instructions, it's relatively easy. And there are some people out there. There's Rich with his Death by Bungee. He's a crossbow guy. He does a great video on how to sight it in. But for the most part, you really just need to follow the instructions to the T. I used two truing points, they're just points in which you sort of set the rangefinder to make sure it's accurate. I use 35 and I use 60. If you get the manual and you get this, you'll understand more what a truing point is. If you don't, and then you don't have to really worry about accuracy. The rangefinder takes care of the accuracy on its own. You just need to get those points out and just make them accurate so the rangefinder can recognize different lengths. But I can shoot, if I put this on a rest, I can stack as many arrows as you want inside of a Dixie cup, inside of the area about the size of a quarter, which is spectacular. And they zip down there like laser beams. That is all I have for you. I don't want to make this video too long. I highly recommend the viper430. I highly recommend the Burris Oracle range-finding scope. There's a Garmin one out there. I have no need to try it. But this is a spectacular piece of machinery. It really is. If you have any other questions that I haven't touched upon, please put them in the comments. I'll answer them as best I can. And happy hunting. Get out there and get yourself a deer. My deer season's starting next month. I can't wait. All right, you guys be well. I'll talk to you guys later.